So I was standing at the bus stop after work, passing the time of day at the insistence of this woman who was also waiting, and all of a sudden she leaned in towards me, smiled and said, "I bet you're married, aren't you?" Well, it was with some relief that just then I spotted my bus fast approaching and I stuck my arm out. Yes, I instinctively lied. Thought so, she sighed, smiled sadly and took a step back. All the best ones are taken. Anyway, I jumped on board, leaving her to wait for her bus, and I hope it came. There's nothing more frustrating than waiting for the bus that never turns up. Let's face it, we've all been there. It had not long started raining, and she didn't have a brolly with her, and there was no shelter, so I left her with mine. At least I got Odd. She might still be there for all I know, waiting in the rain for the bus, and the man that never turned up. It was rush hour, so I had plenty of time to think on the journey home. 20 minutes minimum. As the bus quickly filled to capacity, I sat there. I was staring out of the rain street window at all the poor, wet, lost souls waiting along the route the bus had sped past, leaving them behind with their hands still held out. Some raging, some resigned to the inevitable. All of them impotent to do anything about it. All the best ones are taken, she'd said. I looked around the bus in the hope of seeing a friendly face. Would not be found. Just a random cross-section of disgruntled humanity, desperately avoiding eye contact in a cramped and uncomfortable space, ears stuffed with earphones, faces buried in smartphones as steam rising off damp coats. I went back to my thoughts. The woman at the bus stop was not alone in what she thought, of course, even if she was alone in reality. Maybe it's an age thing. If you've lived long enough and you've failed to find a life partner, it's bound to set you thinking. It set me thinking about why I was so eager to escape onto the anonymity of the bus. Am I antisocial, you may ask? But no, I'm just not very way inclined. See, while I can't fault her tasted men, she didn't seem to be all there, if you get me meaning. Something glassy about her eyes. Might have been the after effects of a liquid lunch. Not my type at any rate. I prefer men, if I'm honest. It's a shame, I know, ladies, but there you have it. Gay, straight, or any stop in between. We're all the same. We're all on the same journey. We're all heading for the same terminus. It's just the ride that's different. All the best ones are taken, she'd said. But are they? Given the general state of relationship these days, if you hang around long enough, the best ones are likely to come back on the market, and probably 3 at a time. Relationships don't last like they used to, do they? Once the novelty has worn off, they hit a bump in the road, and it seems to be a case of too much like hard work and bye-bye these days. And the ones that stay together, they always seem to have an air of gloom and disappointment hanging over them. And I thought of all the times I've sat in a cafe or a restaurant and spotted a couple at another table, sat there, not talking to each other. I'm not talking about that comfortable silence that comes with knowing somebody really well, but the uncomfortable silence that comes from being bored stiff and wishing you were somewhere else, with anybody else. Him reading a newspaper or staring at his plate, ferreting about endlessly in her handbag as if searching in vain for the love she'd lost. I used to remark about the phenomenon to my ex-partner until I'd suddenly realised we had become that couple, minus the handbag, which is why he is my ex-partner, I suppose. It's since been taken again. All the best ones are, apparently. I looked around the bus again. Fewer passengers now. For those that remained were all lost in a bubble of their own technology. I luxuriated in having 2 seats to myself. There's a lot to be said for having your own space, especially when it means you don't have some all-in wrestler sat next to you, spreading his mammoth thighs so as to crush you into 6 inches of available space. I bet he's been taken, but by who? Who'd have him? He's probably just as selfish as the bedroom department. Stands to reason. Chuff. 2 more stops. It was my turn to disembark. I poised myself to ring the bell. Well, not just yet. No. Not all the best ones have been taken, I concluded. I've not been taken. Oh, I've been taken for a ride a few times, it's true. Some of those rides being lengthy. But always ended up leaving one or the other on the side of the road. I'd blame the driver if I was bothered. I'm not bothered. I don't give a monkey's. In the final analysis, I'd rather walk. At least I can trust my own legs. They've always brought me home on the last stretch, and here I am, safe and sound. I'm home. Home alone, but it suits me. Better to be alone than lonely with somebody else.